All right, mate. Yeah, sorry for the late reply. MIR, yeah, looking like a bit of a cup and handle. It does look half decent for the cup and handle. Now you can see we're deep red on a 6 month and pushing lower. I'll just break it down. We'll work our way through the time frames. You see we're still basically on the lows. I know it's a nice pump today. 3 months or 6%, up 6% today. Now what I didn't like about MIR, and it was the fact that I still got a bit of COVID cough. It was the fact that this did not take out the lows. You see this green candle? At this point, you know, that makes me think that this bounce is eventually going to roll over and probably put in some sort of a stop hunt of these lows, or a move lower at some point, you know, maybe then before going back up. Because normally when you get a big candle down like this, there's usually some sort of dip lower to bottom out the move. This is so it's telling me that this is an oversold bounce, and at some point in the future it probably should go lower again. Okay, so with that in mind, we need to try and figure out how high this can bounce before it rolls over. You have to say, you know, it's a nice bounce here. It is moving up well. Nice 3-day candle. But as you can see here, when you recapture the yellow 9 EMA, sometimes it can keep going. Of course, it's not always going to keep running, because, you know, here it didn't. At this point, it does look like, you know, any dips are probably for buying. This was probably up 10 or 12% at one point today. What is this? Well, it's up 6.5% now. God, at one point it was up more. It was up close to 15%. Right, very good. You can see that this 12-hour candle is now getting a bit of a sell-off. So I would have to think at this point, if we start selling off, if we sell off back down into, let's drop that a bit lower. I would say down in here into a bit of a cluster, you know, down in this area. If we continue to sell off down here, I would say that's a buy down into this level for the next leg higher, targeting, well, your first target is in here. And you know, if it can, it probably will go a bit higher up here into resistance. The last resistance point is up here, roughly at the 160. I probably didn't draw it right. 170 level, 160, 170 level. That's where the last actual base and major resistance point was. So I wouldn't buy this here right now. You're having a red 12-hour candle. I would let this dip, maybe on a new day. If there's any more downside, it's probably better to be buying, you know, down in that area for the next leg higher. As I said, I think at some point in the future, it doesn't have to be today or tomorrow or even next week. But as you said, a bit of a cup and handle pattern potentially. You know, the target of that, I'm sure you've looked at that target already, but you know, that'll give you a target, and that actually brings you almost up to the level where I was pointing at up here. Brings you a little bit lower. You can see right there. So I agree with the cup and handle, and I think dips here are probably for buying. I don't really see price going higher than 160, 170.